Hello and welcome to the 2022 New Year's Eve Extravaganza presented by All Things Sports. I am your host, Zach Bischoff, and over on my other side is.
Danny Shanholzer.
All right, good afternoon, and happy holidays. Happy belated holidays now to all you and yours out there, and happy holidays and happy New Year to you, Daniel.
Yeah,
Okay.
Zach. Happy New Year to
Yeah.
you as well, man.
Yes, thank you, thank you. It's going to be we'll get into the plans for 2023 later on in the program. All right. Now, today we have a very, very big amount of stuff to cover. We're going to start with the Penguins and the play of the Penguins over their last couple game shows. So, Danny, first of all, your thoughts on the Penguins play as of late.
Yeah, Zach. It has not been great, right? The Pens in their last 4 games are 0-2, right? So that is not where we kind of want to be heading into the Winter Classic, which is on Monday against the Boston Bruins, I believe. And Zach, I think where it starts and ends for me, Zach, is our power play production has just not been to the level where it needs to be. I mean, Zach, last night alone, we lost 4-2 to the New Jersey Devils, and we went 0 for 9 on power play, Zach. I mean, that is inexcusable, man. We
Yes.
just cannot have that. And we just, like I said, just the production has not been there as of late.
Yeah, and also it doesn't really help being, 0 for 9 on the power play, but when you have two officials that like to call everything, every other second, their arms up in the air. But and also when you call, I believe by my count, 7 minor penalties in one period, 3 of them being bench minors, none of them for too many men on the ice. I believe 2 bench minors for unsportsmanlike conduct, and 1 for delay of game on a coach's on a taking too long to decide if they're going to challenge a play. Give me your thoughts on the on the officiating last night, and if you thought that affected the game and its outcome at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that they had a quick whistle the other night, man. And it certainly did affect the game. Mike Sullivan told the media after the game. He said, the game was won and lost on special teams, and I mean that could not be more spot on because like half the game was on like special teams.
Yes,
Because
and it was
on one period, Zach, the Devils had
yeah.
10 penalty minutes or whatever it was, and
Uh-huh.
the Penguins had 12. Man, I mean that is ridiculous, man.
If I may interject, it was interesting watching Sullivan like scoot around that question, because if you say something wrong, because I saw Maple Leafs head coach Sheldon Keefe was, I believe, fined $100,000 for saying was it like demeaning conduct toward an official. So if you say the wrong thing in the NHL, you'll probably at least lose 50 grand, if not 100 grand. So it's interesting to watch him. Kind of beat around the bush, so to speak, with that. But it was
Right.
interesting. He was right. Half the game was on special teams and a team, because they were calling and they were calling it both ways.
Uh-huh.
But you can't have both teams, like, if you played the NHL video game, like if you keep hitting the poke check, you're gonna have super inflated penalty minutes. It's always kind of like video game numbers last night. Now,
Yeah, a little bit.
it's nothing close to what I get in a video game, but um, that's neither here nor there.
No, and to a certain extent, Zach, like I understand, obviously there was a lot going on, and that's what prompted the referees to call so many penalties, Zach. But I feel like when they when they kept building one after another, man, and like
Yeah.
you said, like three bench minors in a period or whatever. I mean, that just you got to let them play to a certain extent. Kind of.
Yeah.
If I would have taken the stance of kind of okay, we got to be on top of it here. But what? Let's bring both captains together, or we're not, and just like let's play and let kind of everything kind of work itself out. And that's not what they did. They kept relying on their whistle. You know what I mean, Zach?
Yes. and we usually are yelling at refs to call something, but now in the case of last night, we're telling them to swallow the whistle a little bit, and that's substitution now is well, some people I guess were heard in the crowd on the hot mic, I guess, and they weren't too happy, but we're like to keep it family friendly right here at the All Things Sports Podcast, and we're not going to say anything like that because we don't want to get. That's also why we were we were playing the hardest version of Jingle Bells that I've ever heard in the open. That was something. I'll have to keep that. I like that. What else?
Winter Classic coming up, huh?
Yes. Your thoughts on the upcoming Winter Classic here?
Well, Zach, I for one love the jerseys, man. I think they are fresh. I'm looking forward to seeing the everybody rocking on. I mean, obviously it's a New Year's Eve kind of time of year, that kind of a tradition, obviously with the Winter Classic.
Well, it is New Year's Eve. It is the New Year's Eve time of year because it is New Year's Eve today. But that seems
correct, Zach. 'Tis the season, correct? No, yeah. I'm excited, man. I mean, obviously we're playing the Boston Bruins, so a rivalry game, right? Hopefully we can use this to kind of get everybody fired up here. I think that these type of games can kind of go two different types of ways, Zach, because obviously you're very hyped up to play. So I'm hopeful that the Penguins can kind of use the Winter Classic as kind of a motivator. I mean, obviously you want to beat your rival, and it's a big deal to play in the Winter Classic. So I'm excited to see. I'm hopeful we can get back on track. You know what I mean?
Yes, and it will be interesting. I like when the jerseys were first introduced, I did not like the jerseys, but now I really do.
Came around on them.
Uh-oh. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just lost our connection there for a little bit, but here we go. Here we go again.
We are back.
Well, I don't think we ever went off, but my YouTube said it wasn't getting data, but anyway, so where was I? Jesus. Well, let's move on. Okay. Next topic. I had more to say, but I forget what I was going to say. So, the National Lacrosse League. That is, as we say, our favorite time of year here at All Things Sports. And Danny, your thoughts on the National Lacrosse League heading into the new year?
The new year? No. But typo there. But obviously, M and N are very confusing. Anyway, no, I'm just messing with you, Zach. I'm just messing with you, buddy.
Yes, they're next to each other.
I'm excited, man. Obviously NLL, right? Games, are far apart. But they still carry meaning, right?
Is that better?
What's that?
Is that better?
That is better. Yeah. Replace the M with an N. There you go, Zach.
They're right next to each other.
Spelling bee champ right there, ladies and gentlemen. Spelling bee champ. No, where was I? NLL, right. Yeah, man. So the NLL, with it coming in the new year, like I said, we touched on this a little bit ago, but it's been wide open as of late, man. I mean, you got teams that you don't know a ton about because of that, kind of everybody getting new draft picks and all of that. And I think that is a storyline that I've kind of been wanting to watch is just kind of how those new players that are rookies this year contribute to their teams, because obviously it's similar to lacrosse in some ways, obviously, but obviously with it being less players that are involved, rookies kind of have to take a big step up because they really have to be contributors to their team. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah, so we're now going to take you through, if I can do this properly and not break anything. Okay, so we do apologize for the late start, as my my entire OBS layout decided to have a connection, so that's why we had to reset everything. But we're back and we're going here now. So we are going to share that screen. And we are going to, all right, so this is, what are we? Week number 4, I believe. So we have Halifax losing to Buffalo. That it's a very, very good rivalry game. 18-13 in favor of Buffalo. Now that game, the Halifax jumped out. They looked like the better team early, but they just they did not play a good defense, I guess, and I guess that came back to bite them. So, and then in the game, and then this next game that I did not watch, the San Diego Seals defeated the Calgary Roughnecks 17-14. And now tonight we have the Panther City Lacrosse Club and the Saskatchewan Rush. I will be picking Saskatchewan for that one. That'll be a fun one to watch. That will be at 9 p.m. tonight. All NLL games can be viewed on ESPN Plus. Danny, your thoughts on everything that I just said?
Yeah, man. Obviously, should be a like you said on that rivalry game. I think it's always interesting. Another kind of interesting thing about the NLL is conferences. They aren't that big. They're still kind of expanding. So you really kind of do see those rivalries develop. And obviously, Panther City versus Saskatchewan tonight, New Year's Eve night. So obviously, everybody's gonna be fired up to get this end 2022 on a good note and start 2023 with a bang here. So obviously, I guess the new year kind of can bring hope to teams like Saskatchewan, who just want to keep it going. Because if I remember correctly, a couple weeks ago they had a big win against, was it
Colorado,
Buffalo?
probably.
What's that?
Probably Colorado.
Colorado. That's what I meant. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, no, I'm excited to watch that for sure.
Let's see. I was gonna say something else. Oh yes, I want to show you here are the current National Lacrosse League standings as of today, New Year's Eve. So we have that didn't want to do that. We have the East Division. We have the Rochester Nighthawks at 3-0. 41 goals for, 31 goals against. So that tells you how high scoring a
Close games too.
Indoor lacrosse can be. Yes. And the Toronto Rock all the way down here in I believe that it's 6th place in the East, and I'm losing my train of thought as we speak. They've been a little bit of a rough stretch here, and we'll see how they proceed. This is interesting. Colorado Mammoth 1, 2, 3, 4 in 5th place right now. They stand at 1-1. Now I get it's early, but interesting to see that Colorado lost to Saskatchewan to begin the year. So we see how I'm sure they will be able to rebound, and I'm sure they'll make playoffs again. I don't know. I'm still sitting on Saskatchewan to win, but I'm liking Panther City Lacrosse Club here too. They were, I think they're one of my other favorite teams here. So we'll see how the NLL season progresses. All right, now we're going to talk about. Let me just switch to that. Oh, nope, not that. There we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Steelers and a very, very, very pivotal. Well, let's talk about Las Vegas. So, before that, was it on? Franco Harris, obviously Steelers legend and author of one of the greatest plays in Steelers history, passed away unexpectedly a couple of weeks ago. Any of your thoughts just on Franco Harris and the impact that he had on the city and on football as a whole?
Yeah, Zach. Obviously, very sad news. When I heard that Franco Harris had passed away, because it was almost 50 years ago to the day of the Immaculate
Hold on.
Reception.
hold on. To whoever is inside of our YouTube chat room, let me remove that person, remove that message, and move that. All right, I love people, don't you? We just okay. So we're go ahead.
Um,
I apologize.
no, yeah, no, it's all right. I'm not sure what was going on there, so we do apologize. But like I was saying,
I'll tell you after.
okay, all right. Like I was saying, Franco Harris, obviously a great figure, not just in terms of Pittsburgh sports, but just nationally was nationally known. Just for how I mean, he was a great football player, obviously, but he was an even better person. Just the way that he was so humble. He was apparently very very excited about those the honors that he was going to have following the immaculate or following the Steelers Raiders game. Sorry, on the 50th anniversary of the immaculate reception. So obviously, very very sad news. But I had a feeling that the Steelers were playing for Franco Harris when they played the Raiders on Christmas Eve night. They beat the Raiders 13-10. So that was awesome to see. And yeah, just thoughts and prayers go out to Franco Harris's family, and just a great football player and great person that he'll be missed for sure.
Yes, we need some moderators in this chat room because I do not like what I'm seeing. But but we currently don't have anybody in here, so that's kind of hard. So you only really have me. But we will move past that and let those people keep. We'll keep removing those people. All right. Yeah. So anyway, I hate people. Yeah. So it's obviously very sad. He died. Franco Harris passed away a few days before they're set to honor him and retire his number, which they did ended up going through with. And they were, Steelers president Art Rooney was saying, and I quote, what did he say? He said it wasn't supposed to be like this. He's like, he was the big man referring to Franco Harris was supposed to be standing there with him, but his wife and son were there in his place. So obviously, thoughts and prayers to his wife and family. What else? What else do we have?
Pitt.
Yes, Pitt. Sun Bowl. The Panthers. They are Sun Bowl champions. For what that's worth, yes, they are. Danny is very excited over there. Um, so yeah, they won. I believe it was 37-35, I believe.
Uh
Or
huh.
is that it? Yeah.
Something like that.
So Danny, your thoughts on that game, and then just your brief thoughts on the Panthers. So they got down early in the game, but then they battled back, and then your thoughts on the decision to go for it on like fourth and something inside of kicker Ben Sulzer's range.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that specifically?
Yeah, man. I mean, what a game, right? With bowl season, a lot of people say, bowls don't matter. It's a waste of time because you got players opting out. But yeah, I for one was very excited to see that Pitt was playing UCLA, because UCLA, I mean, they wanted to get 10 wins, and obviously Pitt wanted to beat a ranked team. But Zach, where would we be if we had started Nick Patty all year? Because he had a heck of a game, man. I mean,
Yeah,
he on that final drive, he led. Well, obviously, we'll talk a little bit about that poor decision by us to not kick that field goal. I probably would have. I understand that a first down ices the game. For those that didn't watch the game, we it was probably about 2 minutes or so left, and we had a 4th and 1, and obviously UCLA used all their timeouts. So if we would have converted that 4th and 1, then we would have iced the game. But we didn't get that 4th and 1, and UCLA drove down and scored a touchdown. But then, Zach, Nick Patty again just played a heck of a game. He had a heck of a game-winning drive, and they were just able to get the job done. I mean, Jared Wayne had a huge game. You know, he was thinking about opting out, but he did not. And Rodney Hammond for Pitt kind of seized the opportunity. You know, second string back to Izzy Abandakana, who did not play. He really seized the opportunity, and just Ben Sawers, man. Ben Sawers was money all game. He made 4 field goals, I think, by the end of it. And he just, I mean, that final drive. If you have not watched that final drive, I encourage you to do so, because that was just very awesome to see. But you know, Pitt as a whole, man, I'm really liking kind of the direction that we're headed to. I mean, obviously, you know, we had a couple, you know, disappointing early losses here, but I feel like we kind of really rallied back, and you know, the bowl game was kind of a testament to that. But we just gritted out the win. I was very excited to see that.
Yeah, and also your thoughts on the Panthers calling a timeout and then not substituting the players you wanted on the field. Now they have 2 timeouts at this point. They burn one. They don't get the person they want on the field. They call a second one out of timeouts with 34 seconds left.
Yeah,
your thoughts on that?
That's less than ideal, right, Zach? I mean,
yes.
They panned to Pitt coach Pat Narduzzi, and he was understandably very, very discontent about the state of the defense there. I mean, it ended up being a good timeout because, you know, we had a player come onto the field late, so he wouldn't have been matched up correctly. But I mean, that just makes it even more impressive that we were able to score a game-winning drive with no timeouts and like 35 seconds left or something like that. So that was pretty cool to see.
And lastly, your thoughts on former Boston College quarterback Phil Jakovic, local kid. He's from Pittsburgh. Your thoughts on him coming here next year with his final year of college eligibility?
Yeah, Zach. Obviously, I'm excited. Pine Richmond guy, so we're pretty close to.
Pine Richmond is a local high school in the area, just for reference.
Yeah. No, so I'm excited, man. I mean, obviously, with Slovis transferring, another guy comes in just that quick too, man. I mean, that is just the way the portal goes. But I'm excited, man. I mean, obviously, he couldn't quite find his footing in his first stint, but I'm hopeful that he can, because I mean, what everybody's been saying is just that he's a great kid with good mechanics. So I'm hopeful for next season.
Yeah. He transferred to BYU, I believe. Also, lastly this time, your thoughts on since the passage of the NIL rule, name, image, likeness, what are your thoughts on that and what that's done to the entire college football transfer portal system and everybody seeming to move at one time?
Yeah. You know, Zach, the portal is overloaded right now. I mean, that's no secret, right? I mean, you got guys that you know want to play more. You get guys that want to make more money and everything in between. And I think NIL name, image, and likeness. Yes, thank you, Zach. Name, image, and likeness. You know, I'm very great. I'm very not grateful, but I'm happy for college players, because you know, you got in the past you have coaches that were just making millions upon millions of dollars here, and the players just were getting nothing but an education. But yeah, man, like I just think there needs to be some sort of almost like there's got to be some sort of cap, not like a salary cap in a certain extent, but like there's just got to be it just right now there's too much going on. There's too much. It's just chaos because everybody's there's no system in place. And I mean, that's obviously to be expected because NIL is kind of still in its early stages. But the transfer portal, I mean, it just right now there's too big of a pool of players. Guys are just it's just a lot, and I think especially with college football, but even college basketball too, which we'll talk about in a second. It's just there's definitely a lot going on. So I'll be interested to obviously watch kind of how NIL continues to kind of dictate the college sports landscape here. But transitioning into college basketball, Zach, the Pitt men's basketball team is 10-4, and they are 3-0 in ACC play. Zach, we beat Carolina 76-74 yesterday. I mean, I don't want to speak too soon, but I think we're back, Zach. And let me tell you why. Okay, on a proven year for Jeff Capel, his 6th year, he hasn't been great. That's no secret. Pitt basketball has not been great in a number of years. I mean, Kevin Stalling was an absolute just train wreck. But Jeff Capel, he's got this group believing, man. There's definitely a sense of belief in this locker room, Zach. And the ACC, more than it has been in the past couple of years is really open. Because Duke, they're ranked, but they're not as dominant as they've been in the past with Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett. And Virginia, I mean, obviously they're talented, but they kind of they play real good basketball. So I really think that it's gonna a lot of teams are kind of gonna beat up on each other, so to speak. It's gonna be very, very competitive. But Zach, I mean, Jamarius Burton, our leading scorer as of late, he had 31 points against North Carolina, which let me remind people that aren't necessarily big college basketball watchers. North Carolina finished 2nd in the NCAA tournament last year, man. I mean, that if you would have told me that we'd be sitting here at 10-4 and 3-0 in ACC play, coming off a 2-point win against last year's runner-up on the national in the national tournament, I would have told you were crazy, Zach. But I am super optimistic about this Pitt basketball team, Zach. I'm super optimistic.
Yeah, I'll have to start watching. It'll be interesting to see what happens as the season progresses, and see what happens when it comes toward March. Just in, Alabama beats I believe that is Kansas State 45-20 in the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Maybe they should be in the college football playoffs, Zach.
And that will segue perfectly into what I think is our final segment of 2022. The college football playoff, I believe those games, the first game, I believe, gets underway at, 4 o'clock.
You're correct.
And I believe that it's Michigan and TCU. Yes, that is correct. Michigan, TCU, and then at 8 o'clock we have the TCU Michigan. That is the Fiesta Bowl for those of you keeping track, and Ohio State and Georgia in the Peach Bowl at 8 p.m. tonight. Danny, first of all, your picks and your thoughts on both of those games.
I mean, Jack, with Alabama winning so handily over Kansas State, even with 2 losses, don't you think that they might be the number 1 team in the country? Said Alabama fans all over the United States. But let me tell you, I'm very grateful that very happy that the College Football Playoff Committee did not put Alabama in the College Football Playoff because they did not deserve to be in there. Okay, I'm going to stop with the Alabama slander and turn my attention to the 4 teams actually playing in the college football playoffs, Zach. I mean, obviously, Georgia trying to go back-to-back. I think they take care of business over Ohio State. C.J. Stroud, great quarterback, will be a great NFL player. He's got talent, man. But Georgia, I mean, their defense is just it's just really something special. And they're just a very very solid complete team. I mean, Kirby Smart has definitely figured something out up in Georgia there. Now Zach, the TCU Michigan game gets really interesting because
Yes.
you got two um, teams that haven't been to the like TCU. I don't know if they've ever been to college football play. At least it's been a
Nope.
while. Kind of the Cinderella story, and Michigan. They're always kind of on the cusp of making it, but they in past years have kind of just lost to Ohio State or lost in the Big Ten championship game. But Jack, I mean, it's going to be really interesting because obviously TCU is coming off that loss in the Big 12 championship against the aforementioned Kansas State, but Michigan is coming off a pretty easy win against Purdue. So I'm really looking forward to see kind of the two competing styles, if you will, Zach, because if you haven't caught, for those of you that haven't caught a ton of TCU and or Michigan games, Michigan, what they really hang their hat on this year is defense. I mean, they're averaging 13.4 points a game that they've allowed. I mean, that is very good. If your defense can do that week in and week out, Jack, if the Steelers could do that, we would be sitting pretty good right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then with TCU, they're kind of the opposite. They're really strong on the offensive side of the ball, but their offense puts up a lot of points, but their defense, kind of struggles. So I lean towards Michigan here, Zach. But TCU, I mean, they've had a magical season. So maybe they keep the magic going. But if I had to pick the winners, I would say Georgia and Michigan.
All right. Yeah, I agree with you on the UGA Ohio State game. However, I tend to disagree on the TCU. They nearly went 13 and 0.
Yeah.
And they had because I watched the Big 12 championship game. They, I believe, if I remember correctly, had a lead. But I think that I tend to think that even though Michigan is favored by about 8 points, I tend to think that TCU will just edge over Michigan. And Danny, any final thoughts before we get into our announcements that we must make and our wrap of 2022?
No, Zach. Just obviously looking forward to the football here tonight. And I just want to take a moment and express, my gratitude here. It's been a great year, all things sports here. The guy that drives the bus, man, Mr. Jack Bischoff. He's been doing his thing, man. I really enjoy coming on here, and just talking sports, man. And I'm very appreciative to everybody that's just been watching and listening. Man, I mean, I love talking about sports, and this is something that I want to do for a while here. Just
Yes.
even but yeah, man. I'm just very 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 grateful for all that we've accomplished in 2022 and excited for 2023.
Yeah, 40 episodes and 514 downloads later. Words really cannot express the amount of thanks that I have to every single one of you out there that has watched, listened, and downloaded our podcast. 2023 is going to be a big year. A longer-term project that we have. I've been working this out for the last couple of months now. We, at some point in 2023, will be having the official website of All Things Sports launch. We are not putting a date on it yet, as that is a massive undertaking for both myself and Danny. So we will hopefully, maybe mid-year. I mean, it's going to take a very long time to get it right. I mean, we've established a very big listener base here, and we don't want to I'm not allowed to say what I want to say, but we don't want to get it wrong. So yeah, so we want to thank every single one of you that has watched and listened out there, and we hope that I have a couple investments in mind that will improve the podcast. Hopefully, on my audio side, I need to stop using this microphone in here. So we'll see where 2023 takes us for one final time. For Danny Shamholzer and all the rest of us at All Things Sports, I'm Zach Bischoff saying Happy New Year. That one.